What is going on, Guardians? Dorvrich here, and in this video I will be doing a solo flawless run of the Prophecy dungeon as Arcstrider Hunter. This is the fourth video in a series where I go through every dungeon solo flawless on exclusively Arcstrider as a follow-up to my build video, which I will link in the description below. These runs are all with full walkthrough commentary, so if any of you are looking for a very safe and consistent strategy that you can use to solo flawless these dungeons, that is exactly what you're going to find here. As with the other runs in this series, I have made modifications to the build to better fit the specific dungeon that I'm doing. In this case, I have actually dropped the 1-2 punch shotgun, and there are a couple of reasons for this. One is that there is a distinct lack of targets that I'd actually want to 1-2 punch. For the most part, the enemies in this dungeon are pretty fragile, and most of the difficulty comes from the enemy numbers. And one of the few targets I would actually want to 1-2 punch, which is those orange bar knights that drop the motes, are not actually something I would usually want to 1-2 punch, because if I melee kill them, I am completely at the mercy of where they're standing as for whether they're going to drop light motes or dark motes. The other reason is that for the final boss of the dungeon, my plan is to linear fusion rifle him, and to use bait and switch on my cataclysmic, I'm going to need to use something that can actually shoot that far, and a shotgun cannot. As much as I would love to kill that guy with the lament, it's pretty iffy between the boss stomps threatening to push you off of the very small platforms, and the constant portals that he throws out being extremely hard to dodge in melee range. The lament is fine against the first boss, the Phalanx Echo, but I would rather not have to drastically change a build in the middle of a run. So the weapon loadout I would ultimately recommend for this solo flawless is Witherhoard, Fusion Rifle, Linear Fusion Rifle. The Witherhoard allows you to stick a knight with the Witherhoard and then run into either the light or the shadow, depending on which color motes you want. And it's also extremely useful in the final boss fight. When you're parkouring your way down his hallway, multitasking, killing snipers, you're able to stick him with Witherhoards and do quite a bit of damage, while you're focused on clearing the snipers to make the area safe. More on the final boss strategy once we actually get there. As for the rest of the build, I have added high energy fire in place of powerful friends to assist in our weapon DPS against the bosses. Striking Light stays in this time, because even though we don't have teammates to benefit from our orbs, we will have to do a lot of running around while relatively helpless to carry motes to the dunking spots. So the sprinting damage reduction will help immensely. Other than that, I've done the usual thing where I use the longer grenades and jolting grenades arc fragments for the flex slots. Here we're just jumping up to the first boss's arena. I haven't done this dungeon in nearly a year, and even when I was still practiced at it, I was really bad at these jumps. But looks like we made it. Now don't jump across too quickly or you'll get hit by one of those rings. That was how I died in one of my first solo flawless attempts back in the day. Rally, and then step forward to start. Now immediately you're going to want to run back here, because this is where we're going to get the first spawn of little guys. And since this arena does get pretty dangerous, we'll want to punch one of those as soon as possible to start the invis and the combination blow going. For the first cleanse, we're always going to need 2 light, 2 dark, so we're going to get some stacks and then just punch whatever's convenient to us. So it looks like we're doing light first. Here's the rest of the light, and while we're invis we can go up and go for the double dunk. I'm really bad at this, by the way. And it looks like we only got 1. That's alright, there is no hurry. Other than the sheer damage that these ads put out, the biggest threat in this encounter is the boss's push attack. So always be mindful of where the boss last saw you, and if you pop out of invis right in front of him, he's most likely going to go for a push. Oh, it is difficult to jump accurately with the amplified buff sometimes. So now I have a dark cleansed. You're going to want to make sure that you leave the final cleanse for one of the high up ones. The reason for that is that we're going to want to do DPS from on top of one of those top platforms, and we'll get the best DPS uptime if we're already up there by the time the boss becomes vulnerable. That's 3 darks, so I have to kill this next one from the dark. A grenade should take him out. The downside to doing it this way is that we do not get the invis, so I'm going to come over here, punch something, get invis, and go back. So this is going to start DPS, so we're going to just hop onto this platform right here. Super, Witherhoard Cartesian, and start shooting him in the head with the linear. While you're shooting him, make sure you watch his shield. If he goes for the push, just back off a little bit. Make sure he doesn't push you out of the map, because that push can be deadly if it connects. There are goblins spawning. One of them should start, shielding him, so just shoot it and get back to DPS. Especially if you're using a 4th times the charm gun like I am using, it's better to be patient, be methodical, and make sure you hit those headshots, because that translates into less reloading time, which means more DPS in the end. And he's dead. Now if you do not manage to get the one phase on this boss, do not run into the middle and punch something unless there's something already within lethal range of your punches. Everything in here hurts, and if you don't land a killing punch quickly and you're in the middle of the map, you're probably dead. So instead, in that case, I would advise running around the outside of the room, blasting your Witherhoard, and killing everything until you get another spawn of little red bars. Then you can go in and punch one, and get invis, restart the combination blow stacks, and keep playing as normal. The Wasteland is pretty free so long as you take out the snipers. It's fine to use heavy on them because there are no other heavy targets between now and the next rally flag. And don't take any chances with phalanxes. Want to make sure that they die before they manage to physics us into anything. The combination blow melee buff does work on these Taken Blights, but we only have 1 stack. Okay, there's the 3rd stack, and the Aftershock got it. Now that we're up to 3 stack, the rest of these will go down in 1 punch plus Aftershock. Looks like there's nothing to dodge near here for the Aftershock, but 2 punches is still fine. We'll want to come here and watch the direction Toland darts off to, and follow him. So this dungeon is pretty short, but to compensate for that, it is pretty fast-paced, both in the sense that there's a lot happening very quickly in all of the encounters, and that there's very little real downtime between encounters. Even though what we're doing now is technically a transition between encounters, we still do have to pay attention, take out the priority targets, not die to the phalanxes, do an objective. And between the next encounter and the final boss, there's the infamous Rainbow Road, and if our concentration slips up there, the run's over. So even though this dungeon doesn't take very much time on the clock, it feels pretty long because we never really catch a break. We always have to stay focused. So this is the 2nd out of 3 groups of Taken Blights that we need to destroy, and Toland will now show us where the final one is. One thing to keep in mind when you're sparrowing around here is to do your best to maintain your sparrow's momentum. One of the quickest ways to end your run is to become a sitting duck in front of one of those big invisible splash damage shooting guys. We're already so close to this sniper we might as well punch him instead of using the linear. And that will start the invis chain so we can easily take out the rest. And once this guy's dead, I'm just going to start punching the blights. We won't be visible long enough to really take any damage from that sniper. And with 3 stacks of combination blow, we can pretty much insta-kill the blights. So after this one, just 1 more to go, and then we can make our way to the cube. Or the Hexahedron, as I guess the game wants us to call it. It's a cube. Just like with the first encounter, this build is going to completely trivialize everything that would normally make the second encounter difficult. We can clear all of the adds out incredibly safely, and since we have Striking Light, we'll also take very little damage while running the moats to the dunk spot. The way is open, now we can make our way to the second encounter. I didn't get the best look at the direction Toland went, but I think it was this way. Actually, no, it's not that one, is it? I'll see if he's floating there. I believe this is the way... Yep, that's the way to Rainbow Road. Hexahedron is this way. I just finished an overnight shift, so my brain is not functioning to quite the same capacity that I would like it to. But it's still good enough to run a dungeon with one of the most broken builds the game has ever seen. The way we're going to approach the cube is pretty simple. Every room that we go into, we're going to linear the snipers first, clear the ads, get some invis going, and then deal with the knights once the room is relatively clean. We do not want a bunch of stuff shooting at us while we're busy with trying to get the right color motes from the knights. The rally circle should appear in just a second. There it is. Rally and touch Toland to start. The first thing we're going to do is pull out the linear and shoot both of the snipers that spawn. That will cause the knights to spawn. Then we dodge, punch an acolyte for invis, and look at what we need. Looks like it's light. Gonna get a couple actual stacks of combination blow first here. And it looks like the knight walked into the dark, so we're gonna run over here, grenade, and wither horde, and he will drop some light motes. The other knight is over here. He's already in the light, so we can dodge and just start punching him. Now remember, killing the knights spawns the snipers. Killing the snipers spawns the knights. So as soon as both knights are dead, we want to move and get those motes dunked as quickly as possible so that the snipers have as little time as possible to actually shoot at us. So again, linear, and go and grab invis. Now we'll want to look at where the knights are. I hear one to the right, that one's in the light. Not sure where the other one is yet. There it is. This guy's in the dark, so we can just punch him. Then for the other one, we'll run up to him, stick him with a wither horde, and then run back into the dark. We can just wait for that to tick down. There it is, dark motes. Now dunk as soon as we can. And sprint back to the middle. Again, while we're sprinting, we have that damage reduction from striking light, which on top of everything else we have, makes it so we can tank quite a few sniper shots. It looks like we have to cleanse the top here because I didn't see anything. Yep, there it is. A little annoying, but it's just one extra room we have to do. It's not the biggest deal. Grab invis. And it doesn't really matter which color of motes we grab here because we have to go the same direction twice. So I'm just going to go with dark because it's convenient. That guy jumped into the pit, so it looks like we'll have to kill another sniper to spawn a knight. Just kill this guy in the meantime. There's the sniper. Shooting him will spawn the second knight. Gonna finisher this guy for longer invisibility because I have no idea where this guy is yet. There he is. So we'll want to make sure that we get a dark kill, so we'll kill him from range. And go and dunk here because it's convenient. Since it did spawn a bunch of ads, we're just going to go invisible off of them before going to the middle. Alright, it looks like we need light for this room. One sniper there. Not sure where the other one is yet, so I'm going to grab invis. And then look around. There it is. That should be both knights spawning. Ads are over here, so we're going to go over here and punch one. Now we're pretty safe to start taking out the knights. This one's standing in the light, so it's an easy kill. And his friend's in the light too, that's perfect. Dunk spot's over here. Before leaving the room, we do want to grab invis off of ads whenever possible. Just makes it a little bit safer. When you're going for a solo flawless run, you want to take every extra little bit of safety you can, within reason. I'm not trying to make this run take an hour or more. Anyway, we need dark, so kill a sniper, find the other sniper, there it is, kill it. Get some stacks and some invis going, and find the knights. This one we're going to have to do a wither horde stick to. Stand in the dark. Grenade him so he gets less damage out on us. And that is both knights down. We can go invis off of this acolyte's eye for a safer dunk. dunk and book it to the middle. Alright, we need light. So shoot the sniper. Grab invis, finds the other sniper. There it is. Back to punching, get invis, get stacks, kill knight. That's the general flow that you want to follow in this encounter with this build. This guy's standing in the light, so that's an easy punch. The other one is not, so we'll get out of the way of his AoE first, and then take him down while standing in light. Keep moving and sprinting to get damage reduction against snipers and make it a little harder for them to hit us. We did take a hit, so I'll hide back here for just a moment. And go dunk. So if I'm counting correctly, we should be coming up on the mini-boss room right now. Okay, so our super will entirely kill one of them. And then for the other one, we'll want to play it safe. Because these guys can physics you, and getting physicsed is probably among the least satisfying ways for a solo flawless to end. Please do a standard linear bait and switch on him. Oh, that is overkill. That is the cube done, which just leaves Rainbow Road and final boss. Once we get back out here, we'll want to angle 45 degrees to the right to get to the entrance to Rainbow Road. And there's the troll wall spawning in right on schedule. So again, 45 degrees to the right. And there it is. Now, getting through Rainbow Road alive is easy. It's just a question of how quickly you want to do it. The faster you want to do it, the more dangerous it gets. This spot's so trippy that even my cloak is tripping. So for this first section of Rainbow Road, even though I'm taking the Sparrow here, if you're not comfortable on the Sparrow, just walk this first bit. And if you are sparrowing this bit, and at any point you feel like things are getting sketchy, jump off before you start falling. Remember, especially for this part, it's always better safe than sorry. This is a little iffy, I'm going to jump off. Recenter and keep going. Now for this drop, do not stay in your Sparrow, you will blow up. Just jump off. And I would advise staying on foot for these next couple drops. You don't have to take out these snipers, but I like to. And there's my obligatory failed grenade for this run. A grenade launcher counts, right? I think it should. Now for the rest of Rainbow Road, we're going to abandon the actual road and take the footpath. Although it's faster to take a Sparrow all the way to the end, this is a video about how to easily solo flawless, not how to quickly solo flawless. One thing to watch out for when you're taking the footpath is the amplified buff, specifically the speed booster proccing while you're in midair. If that happens, it can completely throw off your jump trajectory and cause you to fall to your death. So I would advise, if you have the amplified buff, don't sprint for long enough for it to activate the speed booster. But now amplified's worn out, so we're good to just keep dropping down. Something that's really nice about Taken is that they announce wherever they're going to spawn, so it makes it really easy to just pre-wither horde their spawn point. Down here there will be a Phalanx inside. Phalanxes are scary because they can physics us, so don't mess around, just kill it. We are amplified now, so again be careful with the speed booster. And amplified is gone, so now we're good to keep moving normally. So the elevator that sucks you up to the final boss area can be inconsistent at times with whether it wants to actually pull you in. Sometimes you might have to get on your Sparrow and off your Sparrow until it decides to actually work. If you do have to use your Sparrow to get pulled up, do not get off your Sparrow while you're in the elevator, because there's a very significant chance that if you do that, your Sparrow will hit you and kill you. But the elevator decided to cooperate for once this time. We're going to want to dodge here to prep an aftershock for this horde. And onward to the final boss room. In the room before boss DPS, we will actually want to not kill more adds than we have to, because they don't spawn enough to allow us to non-stop go invisible. So if we kill adds too quickly, we can find ourselves in a situation where we're getting shot by 2 knights, 2 bosses, and an ogre, and there's nothing we can quickly go invisible off of. So I see light, grab a quick invis. Light, light, and dark. Well, might as well grab a light first, since this knight is already standing there. Finisher for a longer invis. This guy will have to kill from range. This is where Striking Light comes in extremely useful for that sprinting damage reduction. As soon as we despawn one of the boss's projections, the room gets a lot easier. There's just an ogre that we'll have to deal with. Since we don't really have stacks, I'm going to grab a second one off this knight first, and that should allow us to quickly kill the ogre. Alright, there we go. It sounds like we're getting more ad spawns, so this room just got a lot safer. Once we dunk this, we just have the dark left, and we have plenty of things to go invisible off of. So I should be able to punch this guy from the dark. There it is. And for the other one, it's going to be the Wither Horde thing. Go invisible, then grab the motes, then dunk. Gonna ignore this ogre because we're ready to go to DPS. Now for DPS, do not go extra hard burning the boss right away. Hit him with Javelin, hit him with a grenade, stick him with the Wither Horde, throw a Wither Horde under him, and then go and focus on snipers. He's going to throw a portal which will dodge by going to the right, stick him with a Wither Horde since there's already one under him, and then what we're going to want to do here is pretty much stay ahead of him by a little bit and deal with snipers. He makes a very distinct sound whenever he throws a portal, so we'll want to listen for that behind us and make sure that we don't stay in one place when the portal's been thrown. That was a Wither Horde miss. While we're doing this, we do want to keep trying to stick him for more damage while we're dealing with the snipers. Another Wither Horde and our grenades up. Now these last two snipers spawn a little bit early, we're fine to go back here and kill them. Our dark entropy will start stacking up, but the boss's next teleport will take him into the range where it will start going down again. Now from here we can start doing the standard bait and switch combo. Okay, this is the last spot he'll teleport to. That was another Witherhorde miss. And a grenade miss. Well, I really shouldn't do these when I'm exhausted. And it looks like we are on 3-phase pace, which is fine. Getting to damage with this build is honestly very easy. It's not like an additional phase poses much of a risk to us. Okay, this room is a little bit awkward with the light and the dark areas being deceptive and there being very little cover. So we'll have to play it a little tighter than we played the last room, but this build will still trivialize it so long as we keep in mind that we don't want to kill too many of the adds. We want to leave enough alive so that we can go invisible in an emergency. Right, looks like we need light, light, dark. This guy should count as a light kill. There it is. We do need another light, so might as well kill this guy in the light too to get more motes and maintain our stack to deal with the ogre. Now both the lights are out of the way, there's only one boss projection left. Getting dark in this room is a little bit more difficult, but now that the room has cooled off quite a bit, it'll be pretty easy. These guys are standing together, which makes them a perfect target for a jolt grenade. That is so satisfying. We'll run and dunk this. I neglected to look at our ammo count before, but my guess is we're fine. Yep, we're fine. Full heavy. And same deal as before. Witherhorde super. Our grenade's on cooldown, but that's alright. Jump to the right, dodge the portal. Put a Witherhorde in him since there's one under him already. And stay ahead of him, kill snipers, sneak in fusion shots while we can. Since Striking Light is consuming one charge with light stack every time we melee something, we do want to make sure we keep picking up those arc wells so we have stacks for high energy fire. He should be throwing a portal in a sec. Yep, let's move out of the way of that. Stick another Witherhorde. Now the back snipers have spawned, so one more stick, and we'll go and deal with those. And now we burn. Some truly embarrassing Witherhorde shots today. Sorry you have to see this. I also messed up and lost high energy fire, so this is indeed going to be a 3-phase. One thing you can do this season to make the 2-phase easier is use the seasonal mod that increases arc super damage when you're amplified, but I'm not using it because I feel like it would really defeat the point of this series. The build that I'm showcasing is supposed to be evergreen, and I'm not going to use seasonal mods to modify it. Alright, he is almost dead, so the final damage phase will be very short. Okay, this room is much nicer than the last one. We just have to... I forgot to jump. Okay, we're going to look for the nearest group of adds, punch one, heal, go invis. As I was saying before I forgot to jump, this room is much easier to play than the previous one. You just have to be a little bit mindful of that pit in the middle. This room both has much better cover than the other one and a lot more variety of light and dark spots. And since it looks like we need 3 darks, this would have been very annoying in the other room. The faster we can dunk this, the faster one of the bosses will go away, and the room will get easier. There are not any adds to stack off of, but this knight is in a pretty safe position to just punch. And it looks like since that finisher took me out of the shadow, that counted as light. It's fine, we're getting more spawns now, and we got a pretty lengthy invis. This guy's definitely in the dark. In this one too. Just one more left. Just one more cleanse, and we will be off to the final DPS phase. Two stacks is enough to punch this ogre, but gonna grab a third. I do not see... There's a knight. And those came out as light for some reason. I was so sure I was standing in the dark there. It's alright, the room is very cooled off now. A little bit of chain lightning will take care of this mess over here. Full on ammo, or at least heavy. It's not like we're even going to need much ammo to finish this. So again, grenade, super, wither horde, and that alone might end up being enough. We'll see. Looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of shooting. Can probably kill him right here. Nope. As tempting as it might be to go for a stylish finish, a solo flawless run is not the time and place. Don't take any chances, just stick to the strategy. And he is done. That was a solo flawless run of the Prophecy dungeon as Arcstrider Hunter. You can find a full video breakdown of the build in the description below, as well as a dim link to the exact configuration that I used for this run. Drop a like if you found this video helpful or entertaining, and if you want to see more Destiny 2 content, including endgame build videos, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, Guardians.
What was the answer?